He's Kenny Smith, NBA on TNT, also part of March Madness, and joins us on behalf of the NCAA corporate sponsor Enterprise. And Kenny joins us now. Kenny, good morning. Let me start here. A lot of people thought Buffalo was going to beat West Virginia. Now, why do so many people think West Virginia has a legitimate chance against Kentucky?
Well, I don't know if everyone thinks that. I think overall that West Virginia, they do have some elements. And, when you get down to the last 16 teams, then you don't have the same thing that you had during the regular season. These are the top 16 teams. They're going to be versatile. And if you look at Kentucky, the margin of victory has been coming down throughout the year. They don't get an opportunity to have a night off, and they get a 30-point win now with 16 teams left.
Best NBA talent in the tournament is who?
Frank Kaminsky from Wisconsin. He's probably the top. Also, the kid Young out of Oregon, point guard, who lost the other day.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a lot of NBA. Reminds me a lot of Damian Lillard. The way he scores and the way he gets to the rim and things of that nature. Those are the two most impressive individuals I've seen so far in the tournament.
So not Towns or Okafor?
Well, Okafor, they're pros, but you said the most impressive.
Yeah.
So without question, those guys are pros. But for me, with Towns, he doesn't have a lot of responsibility playing with Kentucky. He's got, if he does a little bit of everything, he's okay. But these guys have to do a lot of everything.
Why is it Kentucky can get the one and dones? What separates them? There's other schools that have great history, great tradition, great location. Why does Kentucky get the one and dones and not some of these other schools?
Well, I think, there's about 6 schools or 7 schools that consistently have those type of kids. I think that some of, in the recent 3 or 4 years, the kids at Kentucky have the mindset that they're not staying, with no question about it, regardless of what type of season they had. Because honestly, their kids that they have on their team now, they're pretty good players, but they're not having a season. If you look at them statistically or individually, you'd say, well, you should leave, But because they have a mindset already that they're going to leave, I think that's what's the difference. You look at North Carolina, Justin Jackson. He's having a decent season, but if he was at Kentucky, he probably would have a mindset of like, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to wait around. Just a different mindset. I don't think that there's a different athlete, just a different type of kid.
But do you think it's just a coincidence? Rick Pitino was on the show last week, and he said, look, I'd be in favor of kids coming right out of high school and going pro. And if not, you go to college for at least 2 years. It felt a little Kentucky-heavy agenda, even though Rick said, hey, I've sort of evolved, and I get it now. I understand, let these kids come out, and why can't they come out and earn a living at 18? What did you think of those comments?
Well, I don't think that you should have to do anything. I think that you should have the option. I don't think you should be forced to stay 2 years if you're good enough to come after one. I don't think you should be forced to go if you're good enough to even leave in. I think, they make so many rules for 2% of the kids. 98% of the kids are not coming out. 99.9 are not coming out after their first year. They don't have the ability. They don't have the statistics. They don't have the maturity level. So to make these rules about stay for 2 years and more, you're talking about 1% of the kids that are actually in college basketball, which to me should be worried about making rules for 99%.
You don't think it was Kentucky-driven, the agenda that Rick brought up?
Well, think about this, Dan. Last year, Wichita State was undefeated. They didn't have any one-and-done kids. Those guys were undefeated going into the Final Four. We were talking about a perfect season for them. So now it's just a flip in the exact opposite, which they were a veteran-led team. Clay Anthony Early, who, got drafted by the Knicks. They had Baker, who's still there. Van Vliet, who's still there. They were a veteran team. Now we're talking about a young team that's going to possibly do it. But no one was saying that kids should come out early because Wichita State had too many great seniors and juniors.
He's Kenny Smith, the NBA on TNT, also part of the Road to the Final Four on CBS. Tell me you gave Charles Barkley grief about talking about Cliff Alexander, the Kansas kid who wasn't even on the roster at halftime.
Well, the funny thing is we were talking about Cliff, and he was saying how Alexander not being there was going to hurt, how it was going to hurt Kansas in their run and not actually have an opportunity to do it, his suspension. So I think he just got tongue-tied, tongue-twisted. And I'm going to tell you the truth, Dan. We do 4 games at one time. You know what I mean? Like, there's no one else, there's no other announcer, there's no one else in the country that is doing 4 watching and announcing. We do halftime, pregame, and postgame of 4. So every now and then I give him a slide, but I did kick him under the table.
Steve Nash's ranking all time with point guards is where?
He's top 10. Being an MVP, obviously you'd say, why isn't he top 5? But, guys like Nate Archibald who get underrated and you forget about, who led the league in assists and scoring in the same year. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the same year. They get forgotten. Even guys like Lenny Wilkins and they get forgotten. But Steve has been what Steve. He knows I do this, and I do this to Jamie Foxx. I call Steve Jamie Foxx and Jamie Foxx Steve Nash, because later on in their careers, 9, 10 years in, after Living Color or after being with the Mavericks, he has an MVP season, or he came out with Ray. I was like, I didn't know you were that good. Like, I've been watching you for like 8, 9 years,
and gone, just like that. Hey, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that. Wait, was it your fault or our fault?
That wasn't not us.
Fritzy!
We didn't do a Charles Barkley.
Okay, let me ask you this before I let you get in the Enterprise rental plug. If I said you could have Steve Nash's career or Robert Horry Oreo, 7 rings, 2 MVPs, what do you want?
I'll take the 7 rings.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to go. Here's the thing, Kenny.
Yeah, team sports, man. I play team sport.
Well, you had Akeem Olajuwon, too. I'd play a team sport, too.
No question.
But when Robert Horry walks down the street, people go, who is that? And they'll go, oh, that's Robert Horry. Oh, wow. Okay, 7 rings. When Steve Nash walks down the street, they go, that's Steve Nash.
Depending on what city you're in. You walk in Houston, they're going to know who the hell Robert Horry is in Houston.
Oh, they'll know who Steve Nash is. All right, what are you doing with Enterprise?
Well, doing March Madness, Enterprise Rent-A-Car is officially sponsored. But right now, if you go to Facebook.com/Enterprise Rent-A-Car, they're doing these great stories of college coaches who picked up their team, their student athlete, their fans, or their communities. So it's all play on being picked up. So if you go to the video tab, Facebook.com/Enterprise Rent-A-Car, you see these great stories about these great coaches doing great things. This is the year of the coach, I think, and it's a great opportunity, and it's been a lot of fun to partner with them in this March Madness.
Go to Facebook.com/Enterprise Rent-A-Car for more on this. Have fun. Tell Charles we said hello, and thank you, Kenny.
All right, no problem.
Kenny Smith.